Oh, thanks for calling, Frank. To let me know you're still alive.
What?
Yesterday, after someone beat you up and you needed my help, I came running. But I guess you don't feel like you owe me anything, huh?
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, Courtney, but I was okay. Besides, you said that Joe was waiting for you.
Except he wasn't. I thought he'd gone to work, but when I went to the hospital to visit Neil, he wasn't on duty. He didn't come home all night.
So where was he?
Take a guess. With Karen.
Hey, so you nervous about the big interview?
No, and don't psych me out, Joe Scanlon.
No, I'm sweating it too.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm afraid that the power will go to my head when they offer me the chief resident position, you know.
Well, that handsome head of yours is safe because I'm going to win our bet. But I'll use my power wisely as long as you do everything I tell you to.
Oh, back to the reality. When I win, bring a ladder, okay? Because you're going to start off cleaning my cutters.
Oh, in your dreams.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Eve. You here for the big interview for the chief resident position?
In a few minutes, yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks. How are you?
Married.
I figured as much.
That's it? You don't want to take a shot?
You're married, and I have to accept that. Though I think you deserve a whole lot more.
Wouldn't a friend let me decide that?
A friend would want her friend alive and kicking, not the latest victim of Port Charles's favorite serial killer.
Dr. Smith, 5017. Dr. Don Smith, 5017.
Hey, you look upset.
Just told Eve about the big wedding.
But she threw cold water instead of rice?
Eve just has strong opinions. Just because she cares so much, you know. She'd make a great chief resident, if you want my recommendation.
I told you. I'm going with Karen Wexler.
Because you want her father in your corner.
Look, we get in Scott's good graces, Chris, and it's going to make it much easier when Julie wants her baby back.
Yeah, I understand the politics, but Eve is a friend.
Well, you know what? You're married now. So maybe you should stop worrying about your friend and worry more about your wife. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So are we on for our last meal together for God knows how long?
Oh, don't remind me.
Breaking up is hard to do.
Even fake breaking up. I don't know how I'm going to be able to concentrate on my interview.
Come on, we both know that you will impress the heck out of the board.
Well, I'm not so sure. My stomach's in knots. Speaking of knots, I just spoke to Chris. He and Julie just tied one.
Well, I told you locking him in the closet wouldn't be a permanent solution.
Well, a girl can hope, huh?
Guess we'll just have to redouble our efforts to make sure that Julie stays in Ferncliff.
Except there won't be a we for a while.
Hopefully that won't be for long.
I know it was your idea for Scott and Lucy to break up and for you and Lucy to get back together. But I'm not so convinced that we're going to be able to fool DV, or anyone else for that matter.
Well, we have to, especially DV. Otherwise, there's no point. But you're right. Us breaking up will be a shock to those who think we're the perfect couple.
We are the perfect couple.
And why don't we just show them how happy we are before everything goes kaflooey?
Yeah.
Dr. Locke, I'm hearing wonderful things about you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Boardman.
I know Gail appreciates you taking over for her for the selection committee.
Oh, I was honored. She gave me all of her files on the candidates for chief resident, and I went over them thoroughly.
But this just might be academic. Joe Scanlon being a clear-cut choice for chief resident.
Not when I look at Eve Lambert's record. She's bright, efficient, caring.
Well, we are going to take a close look at each candidate, I presume. You never know what might come up.
Wish we knew more about this wild card on the selection committee.
Dr. Locke?
Yeah, what is her deal?
Well, I mean, more to the point, does she know who we are?
Why would she want to be on the committee?
Well, maybe she has an agenda of her own.
The only agenda Dr. Locke has is giving her patients the best possible care. And she has the best eye for discovering what makes people tick that I've ever seen.
And how come she was taken in by you and Julie? She helped you two get married, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a concept that's foreign to you, Scanlon. The guy who doesn't marry the woman who has his kids.
Dr. Wright, 288. Dr. James Wright.
Ooh.
Yeah.
288.
Actually, I'm a little concerned about Rachel myself.
What, is that your way of telling me not to get my hopes up?
It's just that every time we turn around, it seems that Rachel Locke is involved in our lives.
Oh, every time I hear my name, I hope it's not being mentioned in vain.
Wow, we were just admiring how quickly you fit in around here.
A regular rising star.
Like Dr. Lambert, recipient of the Quartermain Residence Award for Intern of the Year. I was very impressed when I read that. So, shall we see if the other committee members feel the same?
Good luck.
Thanks. Okay.
Nurse Hartman.
Oh, Eve has been taken first.
Well, more time for you to contemplate your utter defeat.
Just how did you get so full of yourself, huh?
Oh, well, I had a hot night with a sexy guy who told me how awesome I was.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find Joe on any of those channels?
Pretty sure he's with Karen, and we don't get stripper TV.
Well, you mustn't obsess about my brother, sweetie. He doesn't love you.
He did once.
Karen has had a string on Joe since the first grade, so just suck it up and move on.
You got any more pearls of wisdom, Frank? How about there's plenty of other fish in the sea?
For a beautiful woman like you, there sure are. I can think of one fish in particular.
Yeah. You and I are like a pair of sharks. We eat each other alive. And you know it.
I just forgot for a second.
Eve, let's discuss your surgical skills.
Yes, your supervisor says that you have the best hands in the class.
With praise for your follow-through during the post-op phase.
Well, I always try and put myself in my patient's shoes. If I can imagine their fears, then maybe I can do something to address them.
So, making yourself available to your patients is very important.
It's essential.
Well, then you must have been bothered that you had to take off so many days recently.
Yes, I was going to mention that. Moving your vacation up at the last moment, then taking a few more days off than you actually put in for?
Yeah, well, there were some friends who needed my help.
More so than your patients?
I have never let my personal life interfere with my patients.
Well, I'm sure that you do believe that, but when I think of the stress that you've been under lately, dealing with Kevin and his father.
Dr. Alcacer, 3715. Dr. Ralph Alcacer.
Hey.
So,
3715.
am I having lunch with the new chief resident?
Not if you're having lunch with me, you're not.
Oh, come on. We both know you're the perfect candidate.
Yeah, well, I did my best to convince him, and then your old pal, Dr. Locke, came in with her 2 cents and brought up the fact that I have missed some work lately.
Really? Well, did you happen to fill them in on the fact that you'd been a little busy doing things like saving my father's life?
If I had done that, it would have confirmed her point. That I love my job, but some things matter more, and I can't argue that. But it was just the way she made her case, with that shrinky sympathy that I find very creepy. No.
Shrinky sympathy. Do I do that?
Well, sometimes, but it's not that creepy when you do it.
Glad to hear it.
Listen, don't you worry. You are getting less and less like a shrink and more human every day.
And I have you to thank for that?
Absolutely. When you were with Lucy, you were pretty buttoned up, which is another reason why you're better off with me. And just try and remember that tonight when you and Lucy do your long-lost love routine.
Well, actually, it's after the public performance that worries me, you know, once Lucy and I are alone again.
Well, then you better flip through all the other reasons why you're better off with me. You lucked out the day you met me.
Could you run those by me again?
My list? You want the whole list?
Do we have time?
Well, actually, my bosses do think I'm a slacker, so I say we have a very long, leisurely lunch, and you can follow me around and take notes like a little medical consultant.
Karen, the position of chief resident, do you think that that would interfere with your time?
It's a big commitment, I know, but that's exactly what I'm looking for in every part of my life right now.
Can you foresee any problems in overseeing your colleagues' schedules? In particular, you're close to Joe Scanlon.
You're right, Joe and I are close, but I feel confident I could keep my personal and professional lives separate. I will be fair with Joe, but I won't play favorites.
Do you have faith in your judgment?
Yes, I do.
Do you think you showed good judgment when you were working on DL-56?
I don't have any regrets with the attempt we made. A drug that could stimulate nerve tissue growth, that could be an amazing breakthrough.
So amazing that you continued to work on it after you had been ordered to stop.
Yes.
Resulting in the creation of a mutant flu that killed several people.
Well, actually, you weren't involved with DL-56 at that time. Isn't that true?
Yes, I had become aware how it had very serious side effects.
And without your knowledge, it was tested on a human being.
Frank Scanlon.
Now, when Frank, he became ill, weren't you actually part of the team working around the clock to develop a cure?
Yes, I was.
So, you showed initiative when a new drug seemed promising, and yet you made a very wise decision to abandon it before it became a deadly outbreak. You even helped to contain it.
You make me sound heroic. I'm not.
A humble doctor, isn't that a contradiction of terms?
Curing an illness, helping someone to heal, that's a very powerful thing. It doesn't make us God, and that's the one lesson I've learned out of all of this. I think that would help me be effective as chief resident. There's one thing I've learned, it's how seductive ambition could be. But I also know the pitfalls.
Frank, have you seen the kitchen calendar?
The one with Joe's schedule written in it?
Oh, come on, just tell me where it is. I'm on hold. Come on.
On hold with who?
It's none of your business. Hey!
Oh, thanks for calling the 24-time world champion New York Yankees.
So what? I want to take Neil to a playoff game.
Well, he'd love that. So would I. Get an extra ticket for me, and I'll pay you back.
I think there's a limit on how many tickets you can buy.
Right, and that limit would be Neil, you, and Joe.
Don't you think you're reading an awful lot into me wanting to take my son to a baseball game?
Our son. And if you're just taking him to a baseball game, why are you looking for Joe's schedule? Anybody ever tell you you're cute when you've been busted?
This is fun for you, right? Harassing me?
Someone's got to keep you honest.
Yeah, you keep me honest, right?
I do know you pretty well.
You think? As well as I know you.
Dimitri left behind family, friends, and a loving wife.
If Dimitri is gone, then I hold you responsible.
Will his final act tear his family apart?
Say it, you coward.
You're not a healer, Alex. You're a death sentence.
I've lost my husband.
And I lost my brother.
It's your fault.
All My Children, ABC Daytime.
This is new.
What?
hugging, kissing. Usually we just get right down to it.
I could speed things up if you want.
Do you want to?
I'm not so sure. This slow approach is interesting.
Yeah, well, it's different at least.
Should we give this some further testing?
Can't hurt.
Hi. Dr. Scanlon, please take a seat.
Oh, thank you.
Heard some very nice things about you around GH. You always seem to be there when you're needed, and you bring impressive skills along with you.
Well, here I thought I'd have to sell myself.
Your reputation is rather impressive. I do have a question, though. It regards you losing your temper while on duty.
Excuse me?
Well, you struck one man, your brother, I believe, in the jaw and knocked out another when you accused him of making a pass at Dr. Wexler, both times, putting the hospital's reputation in serious jeopardy.
Well, in those two isolated instances, I believe my actions were justified.
So, pal, problem solved.
I don't advocate violence, Doctor. But my brother had just done something terrible to the woman I love. As for the other guy, he was stalking Dr. Wexler.
You know, all I'm hearing, Doctor, is that when push comes to shove, we can expect you to react with impulse and not rational thought.
Point is taken here. Can we move on?
Yes, Dr. Scanlon, about your son.
I'm sorry to hear that his condition isn't improving, Joe.
But with him having leukemia, it does make great demands on your time.
If you're implying Neil's illness has caused me to neglect my job.
No, I'm not. But clearly your attentions are
I
divided.
disagree. My son has helped me focus my attention. Because of him, I know what parents with sick children go through. That makes me a better doctor. For the patient and his family.
But would it really help to add the burden of chief resident?
Medicine is my life, and I am good at it. As a doctor, I know my strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of my colleagues. We already have a team here. I can lead that team. Help us all become better at what we do. Is there anything else?
Oh, I think that about covers it.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe.
Well, that was interesting. He was able to rein himself in, but I'm not so sure if somebody else were to get to him, he wouldn't explode. Hey, how did it go? Dr. Scanlon, I'd like to thank you for being so forthcoming in your interview. Karen? What was that about?
I think my chances for chief resident just went down the toilet thanks to her.
Hey. So? Who's the new jefe?
You know what? I really don't have time. I'm going to be late for my session with Julie.
Oh, well, wait. Why don't we drive over together? I promised the missus I'd drop by, and, in the meantime, you can give me a little hint, maybe?
Karen, she showed grace under pressure. And Dr. Joe, he had a hard time dancing around his hot-headedness.
How about, Eve Lambert?
I gave her a free ride, Chris, because she's a friend of yours, but I don't think she got any votes.
You know, I still say she's the best for the job, Rachel.
Well, you can't win them all. Come on, would you go? I'm going to be late.
Meet you at my car.
Thank you. Dr. Collins.
Yes.
Hear you're interested in my past. Even been doing a little research.
I wouldn't call looking at public records research, just curiosity.
You want to know why I had that doctor fired?
Well, like I said, it's hard not to be curious.
Well, he took advantage of a patient, and I couldn't allow that.
The hospital board agreed with him.
Yeah, but he became the hero. Did you hear about that? I got crucified.
Oh, the other doctors closed rank on you.
Well, never tell on another doctor. Their good and honor, not mine. In my book, the patient always comes first. Oh, and Kevin, the next time you want to know something about me, just ask.
Kevin Collins. Yes, Scott. All right, I'm on my way. Time for me to go to the Port Charles Grill.
The Lover's Tragedy, Act 1.
Now, this could be fun once Lucy and Scott break up.
In front of an astonished audience, causing you and me to break up. Yeah, that's my idea of fun.
Just think how much fun it'll be once we get back together.
If we get back together.
This is all going to work. What could possibly come between us?